This is my August 2024 journal entry. I don't have a lot of items because, well, I just came back from Gen Con in August and purchased a bunch of stuff. But a few things did arrive that I want to talk about. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. This is my August journal entry. What we're going to talk about today are just a few items that did arrive. I got White Box. This is a print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG. Got the box set for Black Hack, which is really cool. And I got some items for Vas Grim. One of these is from Gen Con. It was a pre-order, and that's the card game. So let's start with Vas Grim and kind of move our way through everything. So let's talk about Vas Grim. One of the things that I belong to is Victory Condition Gaming's Patreon page. And I am a book club member, which means I pay $10 a month. Twice a year, we get signed books from the authors with certificates, because I believe Doug at some point was part of a company that did certificates of authenticity for signatures. So he kind of took his skill and applied it to his RPG life, and we get signed copies from the authors. So this is my signed copy from Brian Collin. He is credited here with art on a bunch of different pages. He actually drew a little piece of art, and my copy is number 14 of 25. So now I'll have this in my collection. So that's really cool. And also Doug sent a signed copy, and really hard to see that. There it is. A signed copy of his card, which I was trying to get at Gen Con, but I never saw him at Gen Con. So now I have that in my collection. Also, when I was at Gen Con, I wanted to purchase the Plunderlust card game that they were selling. Unfortunately, they did not have them at the show, but mine was shipped to me right away. This was probably the next week they had this in the mail, and I was good to go. So anyways, I've got this. I've not had a chance to play it yet, but it looks like a fun little card game in the Vas Grim world. So that is my Vas Grim stuff. Take a real quick look at White Box. I've been on this kick of watching videos, not necessarily about old school gaming like Mulvey or the basic expert set, but going back to White Box itself, looking at White Box games. And I saw this on another channel, and I figured I'd pick it up. It's just a print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG. I'm just reading this information, kind of, I don't know, I guess I'm caught up in the 50th anniversary edition of D&D coming out, and they've got that really nice book, which is basically a reproduction of all of the White Box material, and I guess I'm just getting a little nostalgic and looking at that stuff. Anyways, I picked this up. Don't know if I'll ever play it, but there's always good tools in these older games that you can use, and plus all this information is usable in a lot of the other games, such as Black Hack. Now here's the star of the show, or of this video. This is the box set for Black Hack. I was looking for this at Gen Con. I couldn't find it. I really love the artwork on the front, and there's a reason why I love the artwork on the front. And if you've ever watched my streaming for gaming, this is kind of my logo, minus part of the finger. Get it? So anyways, let's take a look at this. Box quality is pretty basic, but it's all black because it's Black Hack. You're going to get a cool button. I'll put this on my battle vest to show my Black Hack support. You're going to get these little booklets. These are really neat. I kind of like these. It's just a little booklet with the spells, and these go from levels 1 to 10. And then there's a little space to write on. I don't know if you're, like, this is kind of glossy paper, so I don't know how well writing with ink or lead would do on these, but I wouldn't write on them anyways. And you could recreate these if you wanted to. It's nothing special, nothing fancy, just a simple little book, but you got arcane spells. Divine spells or prayers, sorry, you can use. Then you have locales. Now the paper in here is a little different. It's got a little bite to the texture of the paper. It doesn't feel slick. So you should be able to write in this, which would make sense because this is graph paper and hex paper. And you got this little book that you can use. As soon as I saw this, I immediately went to Shield Dice Studios pocket notebooks that he put out for world building. And really caught my attention with that. But this is just a cool little add-in. And then you have a lore book, blank paper, and you can just write. But there's some charts on the covers, which is really cool. And then here you get the little thank you. I guess this open game license. I guess this was a Kickstarter. I don't know. I just saw it on Exalted Funerals or Noble Knight Games, and I picked it up. It just looked interesting. Something that, again, feeding into my going back and looking at all the old games. And it wasn't terribly expensive. I think it was like $75, and you get a lot of content for the price. So, anyways, a little thank you letter. These are just some little cards to help you out with gaming, which is always kind of neat. I wish more people would do cards versus GM screens. Just that way you can just kind of flip through and get the card that you need. But you can always create this stuff yourself. You don't need people to create things for you. If this method works for you, you can create these. And I like little 3x5 cards. These are bigger than 3x5 cards, but cool stuff. Little charts on them. But then they also included this. So a little bookmark with make your own tables for D20, D12, D6. You could easily replicate this, make dozens of these for your games, and just create your own custom charts. I've talked about this before on my channel. When something doesn't exist in a game that you want, create it yourself. And this gives you a little table that you can create that on. Got a GM screen, so Black Hack's art is very collage, like it looks like a collage of just random pieces of art thrown on the back. But then you just have some charts and tables inside, typical GM screen. Maybe with the little cards, put a little pocket here, put some of the cards in there and grab them when you need them. But it's just a thin, I don't want to say thin cardboard. It's a thick card stock, but it's not the like cardboard that we'll see in like the big GM screens. This is just a little tool to help you with what you're doing. Then you have this pull out. It's a adventure site for a town. You have charts and things that you can roll on. It's just an interesting thing to add to your game. Then a bunch of just printed character sheets. They're nothing, this paper, lined paper, character sheets don't need to be an expression of your artistic skills. They can be pretty basic, and you just get a stack of those. Then you're going to get this zine style book, which is rules everyone needs to know right here. It's for your players, just so they have information on everything that they need to know for playing the game, like a little player's guide. Then you're going to get more of a traditional A5 glue-bound classic monsters. Not art for all the different monsters. You can use your imagination, or you can use a plethora of other pieces of art that are out there. But there are some art pieces in here. And just a bunch of classic monsters. Then you get the hardback Black Hack rulebook, which is just gorgeous. And yeah, just you got your rulebook. So this is everything you need to play your game, and it's got lots of different stuff in it. Black Hack might not be for everybody. Again, I'm just on this kick of looking at how people have reinterpreted older versions of D&D, and I don't know, just expanding my collection. I have White Hack, I have White Box, I have all these hack style games, so why not have this one? And then you get a blacked out pencil, which is really cool. There's nothing that I could see printed on it, just a cool little black pencil. And then we get to the bottom of the box, and you've got this drop table of what got injured, and all the instructions are down here. You just kind of drop a D12, and kind of where it lands is kind of what got injured or what is hurt. Just a really cool thing, and I like this kind of stuff because it's just fun to add to your game, and it really generates a lot more randomness. But it's just neat stuff. So that's a look at Black Hack. So let me get this all packed up. So last thing I want to talk about is kind of the channel, just a little bit. I do have kind of a list of videos that I always have in my back pocket. This is my pocket notebook, so literally they're in my back pocket. For things that I want to work on, things that I got going. I do my best to provide videos that I feel, people can learn from or grow from, or just provide good information. And I do have this list here, and these are the types of videos that I'm going to be working on in the future. No actual date promises for any of these, but if there's something that you may be really interested in, let me know. Next week, my video is going to be for Ferryman. It's going to be a review of a post-apocalyptic game that I backed. It's a print and play type game, and the author actually reached out to me and sent me a preview copy, but I'm also backing it, so that's pretty cool. Martin sent me another preview copy for a different stalker type game that I'll be taking a look at, and probably doing something on the channel, but not right away, since I just did Stalgrog, and that was a stalker game. I want to do a review of the Lockbee Field Journal. This is a Lockbee pocket journal. I've got some insight on this that I really think will be cool. I'm wrapping up my character books for Warhammer Quest. I've got 5 more that need to be printed and cut, and then I've got 2 that are printed and just need to be cut. I just want to showcase all the cool work that Little Monk has done. Steamforged Games, I got the Tavern game, and I was thinking, it'd be fun to just do a video on the games themselves and just have some fun with that. Back during Free RPG Day, I talked about Story Engine cards. That's on my list. I still, that's one of those like easy to go to videos if I just am pressed for time that I can put together a video for. League of Dungeoneers storage. Yeah, I'm waiting on my version, my new version or my expansion version of League of Dungeoneers, and I have a storage solution for a lot of that stuff. I actually do a lot of storage solution for my life, and this is one that I kind of want to share. Lone Wolf RPG and Books. There was a sale going on Amazon, or somebody, I forget who it was. It was shared by AshQuest, and they were selling first 11 paperback versions of Lone Wolf, and I picked them all up, and I also found the RPG, and I was thinking about doing a little review of that someday. I don't know. I'm going to do a spotlight on Shield Dice Studios. I really like Jay over at Shield Dice Studios. He's been doing some things. He's expanded Loom, with not just the new version. There's a new story arc for Loom, still following the same rules, but also he expanded the first version of Loom with some new tools and things that you can use. And I want to spotlight him a little bit, give some attention to his work. He started a Patreon page, which is really cool, and he's releasing material through the Patreon page. So that's one of the things I want to work on. Storing Dungeon Saga. This is a real world issue. Storing all those cool miniatures that you just spent hours and hours and hours painting. Like, here's a bunch of coffins and barrels that I painted, and I'm working on like doors and things like that for the game. And I've got a storage solution for it, and I'm thinking about doing a video on it. And the video that I'm still working on is Commonplace Books, or a commonplace book for role-playing games. This is something I do for my Stoic reading and just my life in general. Like, here's all the books I want to buy just on Stoic philosophy. Commonplace books are just something that I feel people can grow from, and I want to talk about it, but that's something I just started doing, and I'm not that's why I'm just working on that still. I don't just jump out and say, "Oh, this is a really cool idea," and not follow. Like I've been wanting to make it part of my habits. So when I feel like that's become something that's part of my routine, I'll share more about that. But yeah, that's kind of like I do have a schedule, or I do have videos that I kind of have in the back pocket, and I'm always adding to it when things are time sensitive. Like I just did the Newell Dice video, and that was time sensitive because there's a Labor Day sale going on, and I wanted to make sure people could take advantage of that. So that bumped everything else, and I did that. Ferryman, same thing. That's a Kickstarter. It's I won't have a video out by the time the Kickstarter ends, but it's still going to be current and relevant, and people can go and late support it if they're interested. It's a post-apocalyptic game, and it's got a lot of the same vibe of like Jay and Martin's work, with kind of like a hexploration type thing. So it's to me it looks interesting. I just want to share that, and that's next week's video. But anyways, that's my rambling a little bit about the channel update. I thank everybody that supports the channel, likes the videos, shares the videos. Moses over at Winona's Cave just signal boost the Null Dice by sharing it. And there's just some great support out there. Channel continues to grow slowly, and it's hard for channels to grow in such a saturated market. But I've always had kind of my own vibe in life. And when it comes to social media and growth, I'd rather have 10 supporters or 10 followers that really engage with the material than a million followers that don't do anything. So that's my rambling. I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Thank you all for everything, and have a wonderful weekend.